Right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first match of the ESOC TakkCafe Cup, an online startup venture to support logistics and analysis for your local cafe. We are featuring the rank 5th to 12th seeded players on the Edo ladder, so the top 8 players just outside of that elite bracket, but featuring some of your favourite players going at it in a 1v1 series. Today it's the turn of Lecastete versus Kaister. And in the north of the map, we have Kaister playing as the Lecastete in the colour blue, and Lecastete under his new name profile, Geeks. But I'm still be calling him Teddy Boy, playing as the French in the colour red. And I've got the best person in the business to talk about Lecastete openings on Florida. It's your man, Fitzbro. How you doing, mate?
Doing great. Ready to see what Kaister has in store here. I was actually Kaister was helping me out with some Lakota coaching the last week, and he says this is maybe the #1 map for Lakota, so this could be interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. Maito did a great write up on civ viability, specifically on Florida, and has rated both of these civs, the French and the Lakota, as S tier. So I'm going to talk about the French. The French, they have the market starts, so that's early hunting dogs, but they also have, 200 wood crates start off with. They like to go for that early trading post, and Lecastete has that trading post. He has his I don't think he's going for hunting dogs in this opening so far. He might skip it past it. Yeah, I think he skipped it, but still should be going. No, he's just going 12-10. He's ignoring the market. It's going 12-10 here. No wood going down. No house being built. I'm going to get for the early shipment, but unfortunately the south spawn here from the French really unlucky. Meanwhile though, Kaister starting in the north position, having the better trading line spawn, using the coin from the starting position and the markets to buy the wood available for the trading post. I've probably stolen your thunder, but in this matchup though, Kaister, not Kaister, I've just called you Kaister. What a great compliment I've called you now. So, Fitz, what would you do in Kaister's situation?
Well, I think interesting here, with the most recent patch, everybody knows Lakota doesn't start with that wood. But on this map, having that starting market, and there's pretty nice treasures up here in the swamp here in the northwest of the map. You see he was able to take that trade post very easily, where typically that would slow you down a lot anymore trying to get that age 1 hunting dogs and the trade post. But I'll be curious to see what he opens up here in age 2, because I'm not really quite sure what to expect out of Tet here. But we'll have to kind of see what he does at the start of age 2. I would probably just be scouting it out and trying to get a sense of what the French player was doing before making a decision.
So it looks like that Lecastete has gone for a 12-10. I'm not too sure. I think he's ate a lot of his sheep. He had a couple sheep grouped around the market, and only these two sheep have recently just come into his, the vicinity of the town centre. So using the livestock to get the extra food to speed his age up to the second age. That extra 100 XP treasure and the 2 alligator kills as well, giving Lecastete a lot of experience points, and I think another pass of experience is soon going to be upon him. I have no idea where that travel has gone. Oh, there it is. It's gone off the map and it's come back around. I think Lecastete should have 2, maybe 3 shipments back to back once those shipments get sent.
Right now, you can see he's sending his captured pirate there to get in the scout there during this age up. So that's going to give him some good intel on what to do next.
I think Kaiser will just see the time that Lecastete's aged up and gone, okay, you're
Yeah.
going for 12-10. I know what's up. And the thing is, the 12-10, it's a nice. Okay, here's an interesting one. Warhut being built with 1 villager, but Lecastete's just hit that next stage. Okay, there's a sneaky second being built there. If Lecastete goes for an early 3 hussars, there may be trouble for those vills. But it's just the full CDB. Lecastete halfway up at the moment. Let's check his deck in his moment of time. We see the deck's called Florida Sea. What cards stand out for you?
I mean, so really here he's probably he's got the the warships there just to deny water if he does go. Well, what stands out to me? He's got marauders in his deck there. I haven't seen that used in a very long time. So wondering if he's gonna actually use that. but you do to see his two warship shipments he's able to do in the H2 and then H3. So if French does go for some water booming, it's pretty easy to deny, or at least put a lot of pressure on with those shipments.
Yeah, so Kaiser's only just managed to age up now, probably about a minute after Lecastete's been up, and Lecastete's already sent his 4 CDBs. They're on the field, now sending 700 wood, but we do see a defensive in-base barracks. Training some musketeers at the moment, but with 700 wood, we may see a batch of crossbows as well to deal with any early bow riders. At this point, has he scouted the war hut? He has. That's probably indicating him that defensive barracks, and maybe will be just musketeer, and yeah, probably still crossbows to deal with the Seaton bows and the the war clubs. I think the Seaton bows do very, very well to musketeers. Only 5 shots needing to kill a single European musketeer.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably Kaister's going to maybe do a little bit of pressure here just as far as rating, but I assume probably going to work towards H3. At least personally, I'm pretty afraid to push in there. Of course, the CDBs are going to resist pretty well the Seaton and can fight you as well. But he does have those axe riders out, so I'm going to do some rating, but I'll be interested to see if he commits fully here in H2.
That pirate is still standing. Easy pickup there for Lecastete if he wants to take it, but I think he just wants to avoid being snared by the pirate and doesn't value the turnaround. Well, if he turns around to kill the pirate, he's going to take a volley from the Seatons. Axe Rider's coming in, but there's a full batch of musketeers to defend, and losing 1 Axe Rider there for basically for free. That's a power shipment of Kaister.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes here, sending those axe riders first is a bold open if you don't get any value out of them. With these musketeers, he's easily going to deny it. He does have more Seaton coming in to deal with these musketeers. So that's nice, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do any pressure to his eco at the moment.
Well, that's not too bad though from Kaiser, because he's now pivoted into 5 settlers, now sending 700 wood behind this. So with a second trading post behind this, I think he's not all in by any sense. He's just trying to put the pressure, forcing the reaction from Lecastete, maybe trying to bait a crossbow shipment from him, and kind of delay any fortress agenda. I think Lecastete is stacking, will stack food. He's actually killed his sheep here, now sending 700 coin, but I don't think he's got enough food to even contemplate aging. And there's the stable being dropped to the back. Musketeer Hussars.
Now watch what he'll do with that wood shipment. Kaister likes to use this wood shipment to get the tribal marketplace big button. So we'll see if he does that as soon as that wood shipment arrives. Especially on this map, you can't put down any more trade posts. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already got 600 food. He's macroed for. He's probably going to get that. We'll see if he gets it. But
now what is that upgrade? I think I know, but I don't fully know.
So it makes it so all your villagers that are gathering from the natural resources. I believe it's the natural resource. Honestly, I don't know the specifics. I'm so new to using it. Actually, I haven't used it in forever. But it just the experience rates coming in is just insane. Once you're able to send that shipment, it costs 600 food and 600 wood. But then you can easily, send Great Hunter and then send 700 gold. So if he's, getting him to stay in H2. He's able to very quickly have a nice economy going down. He's already sent the villagers, and then still easily get up to H3.
That sounds a bit.
But we'll see if he uses it.
Yeah, that sounds a bit iffy though, because the Kaiser has double trading posts. There's a lot of action, but here come the 5 Hussars from Lecastete. Great timing. Train 5 Seatons. Seatons popping straight onto the musketeers instead of going down to the south side. Dropping down 1 TP, but next to basically no units in the moment. Axe Riders having to body block in front of the Seaton bows to try and defend that, but Axe Riders going down. Lecastete with his 5 Hussars tanking up a lot of damage across each of the Hussars, but they all still stand at the moment. A corral is being thrown down here by Kaister, maybe looking into go to some more Axe Riders, but what a timing has happened here from Lecastete, and Kaister's Seaton bow army is, being cleaned and going to lose his forward position.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he was trying to maybe macro towards, a more an eco move, sending that wood. I don't think he was ready to spend it all right away, and he's throwing stuff down in the back line there, but I think he's kind of caught off guard here by his push.
Well, not too bad here. Timing a 5 Seaton with 6 Seaton bows away from the cavalry. TP to add a tiny bit of extra HP to these units, but I don't think it would make too much difference, but keeps the war hut alive for the time being, and that's a lot of extra damage. All those musks are gone, and those Hussars, they would either siege the Warhurt or try and pick off the Setons, but Tet actually wants to siege this before the clubs pop out. I'm not too sure he realizes how low HP this is, and actually that would be the very smart play. But here come the War Clubs, and that Hussar's being picked off by the Warhurt.
Yeah, this is a nice defense here from Kaister, and was he sending gold now? So we'll see
no way, no way, no,
Oh,
oh no!
How do you let this happen?
Why that hunt out of all the other? Why
Even
the
behind his base, he's got 2.
Let's check his and he's aging. And he's scouted back hunts double. Oh no, this is this is awkward here. Big raid here from Lecastete. Already picking up 2 villagers, likely to pick off another 3. I think 2 will escape here, but 3 should be going down. That hero in melee mode is actually doing a lot of work, keeping quite a few his villagers alive, and it's miraculously that 5 gets away from that. Lecastete got away with that one.
Villagers decided to go off and get that hunt on their own, it sounds like. I think while they were doing that battle, they kind of aggressively pursued that northern hunt.
Yeah. You can see where the turkeys have ended up, and there might have been that just finishing the turkey batch in base, but then noticing that there's some nearby turkeys from the 3rd hunt and going on to that one. So thanks, DEAI. We don't need that one.
Now he does have, it looks like he did get to H3, and he does have those Dragoons on the way, which will make quick work of those Axe Riders. It doesn't look like really much infantry left. Is Kaister working to age yet, or what's he looking at?
He should be following up at some point. Well, no, he kind of is. He's got the coin to age, but his food's still a little bit low. Not training units from stable here, so it does suggest to follow up at some point behind, which I think is the right call because he does have the training posts. Decided to go for Great Hunter at this point, which is a very strong economic shipment. And I think by the time he gathers the food up, should have another shipment ready to go in the 3rd age. But I want to give a quick shout out to Lecastete's villagers. They have their great coats. They also have their blunderbuss, so 16 range on those CDBs. I think Lecastete got some good value from his CDBs fighting there, justifying that investment and picking off a few Seton bows with 1-shot volleys and actually helping to pick off a few low HP Axe Riders. So yeah, good tech, good awareness, and here comes the counter raid of Dragoons. Not really much response here from Kaister.
Now, how many CDBs did he end up losing in that raid? Did he catch a total?
Three at most. Might have only been 2.
Better than it could have been with what we saw coming there.
Yeah, Lecastete's down to 22 CDBs, but obviously CDBs are pretty strong. He might have lost 2 before you even fully checked, but essentially the eco is still relatively healthy. He's got a massive Dragoons out, very strong units to deal with basically all that Sioux have. Their Wakinas aren't great. They focus they focus heavily on the cavalry, which Dragoons do very well. And now following up with an 8 skirmisher, 5 Dragoon shipments. That's Warhut still alive, wasn't repaired. That should be easy pickings here if he sees it. Yeah, he does, and that's gone.
Oh boy. Yeah, for me, my biggest fear as Lakota player are Dragoons, and especially with Tet in an early start here with a bunch of Dragoons. He's really Kaiser's gonna have to get some Wakina out in the battlefield quickly to deal with those.
Looks like Green Devil got his fingers out and was counting. He saw 5 CDBs go down, so it looks like the French player lost 5. But I swear, 3 CDBs were critically low HP, but they all got into the town centre. Maybe I'm just gonna say it was 3. I'm gonna say it was in between, but good spot there for you guys in the chat, keeping me on my toes. But that Warhut. That Warhut being picked up was nice.
Hunt's looking, because he sent that great hunter, so he's going to very quickly run out of whatever is left there under his town center. And now with it appears that Tet has a little bit of the map control here. He needs to be careful of on age up. There, he's got what's left of that hunt.
Yeah, he's working on that second deer hunt from the east position. Yeah, he's got 4 in queue, but the problem with Tashunki is, though, that only 4 is not
They're
enough
not going
to
do
anything.
They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, they need to be en masse, and at this point, it feels like maybe an elite Axe Rider upgrade and sending Wakinas here makes sense. Yeah, with just the 1 stable, it's quite awkward how you use this, and having Colonial Axe Riders versus veteran Dragoons, it's just not. Well, he's got to go for it. The Tashunki's got a snare, but they pop the top side. Actually,
yeah.
He's not.
I guess he wanted just the most upgrades, since he didn't have time to upgrade those Axe Riders. Oh, he's gonna run away. Okay.
Oh, he's doing the nice little trotty dance in stealth mode. I know you like this a lot.
Look at that. There they are. And he's gonna. Yeah, you have to get definitely more than 1. He's got a second batch of them underway. I guess he has another stable somewhere. Did he build it top right?
Next to the Carib settlements here. So yeah,
There we go.
he built that. But what do you think is the critical number of Tashunki to make it, the stronger investment
I
in case
mean,
of Axe Riders, or do you think it's just the
I think you
actual?
gotta have max the 14. I mean, they'll get especially against these dragoons. They'll so quickly pop one, two, three of them, and I always go at them with max. I don't like to use them without having max, but 10's okay. Um, Now he might be able to get a good stealth pop on top of those skirms and then wipe all those out. And if he has a few Wakina in the back for these dragoons, he could stand a chance here. It doesn't look like. Well, he does have the explorer up there. Maybe he'll pop that with those Wakina. I've definitely started using Tashunki actually more, especially against Dutch to catch Reuters a lot of time because actually sometimes you're only
Look
met.
at this. Lecastete moving forward with Explorer, trying to be, proactive with his scout to scout ahead. That scout gets nuked, but he has no idea that Tashunki on the field because they've all been hidden earlier. He's actually.
Did he see those 5 that popped out? He might have seen those in that first stable.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, but even.
Buy it back. That's
Yeah.
what he did.
Yeah, but I was about to say, really good map, game awareness to buy it back. But I think, yeah, just 100 coin for that kind of 620 HP unit. Obviously, Kaister does get that coin as well, but yeah, really nice play there from the cassette. And the thing with the Tashunkis here, I would say that you'd want to get the Tashunkis to have a stealth pop on top of the Dragoons.
He's gonna Marauders. Look at that. He's doing it.
Yeah.
I haven't used that forever.
Yeah, that card there is a plus 30% build limit, so that's going to go from 14
But he's
to...
out of food. Look at that. That's what I was saying. Is once you lose that hunt and that great hunter, you so quickly they use so much resources building this Tashinki. He's gonna how's he gonna get more Tashinki out? He's gonna have to go for a risky hunt.
Yeah, he scouts that top hunt. He does have villagers chopping wood nearby, so they can transition those across. But yeah, this is like the time you want Cav combat for that big fight. But Marauders here is not what he really needs. He's trying to push the Dragoons back away from the skirmishers. That's what he wants. But actually, Lecastete's actually happy to take this fight with skirmishers because he's got a better and stronger skirmisher mass. But here comes the Shunky Pop if he's going to go for it. The Dragoons nearby. He unpicks it. And actually, I think he's going to get a good engagement here on the Dragoons. But the Axe Rider's a little late to the party as well. French Explorer in melee combat, slowing down some of these Tashunkis at the same time. But so far, a decent trade here from Kaister. And actually... all things considered, not too bad, but a lot of cavalry staying behind to take down the Explorer, buying so much time for the Dragoons to make their escape and away from the cavalry. From this position, I feel that the Lecastete is quite happy because he's now picking off these Colonial Axe Riders from range, from safety. A couple of Wakinas here are nice. Maybe just a Cuirassier transition will come in very strong, and we do see Cuirassiers being trained and the 3 being shipped, but does manage to escape behind this with 9 veteran Dragoons.
Unfortunately, he didn't get to use that Marauders because that's only increases the pop limit, but he wasn't able to train any additional, so he didn't really get any value out of that card.
Yeah, of course. And he's now sending Cav combat after that big fight, so...
Yeah, that would have been good first, maybe, but yeah, I think he just ran out of food. I think he would have trained more and kited back, but didn't have any option.
Well, it's not too bad. He's got hunting dogs. Great hunter on top of a top hunt now. He's dropping down a second corral. I think he's realised that he wants to mass his cavalry because he's not going to win the skirmisher war with just those elite Wakina rifles. And as I've got as a more experienced player, I've actually realised how poor the Wakina rifles really are. Low HP, low range, and just get eaten by enemy skirmishers. But here comes the classic 8 Cuirassier heavy cavalry switch. A couple of Tashunkis and stealth slowing down the skirmishers. He's actually having to unstealth them just to protect his skirmishers, but losing here that Tashunki mass. The skirmishers are exposed, and no Cuirassiers went down in that fight, and it looks like the GG has been called here. Tet taking the first game.
Would you by any chance be able to stream in
yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah.
I'm talking about here comes the Shuki. Hey! It's okay. I was curious to see. I don't really go for Tashunki against French like this, particularly with the Dragoons being out. That was very interesting that he tried to go for that. I think maybe if he had got a good pop on some skirms, it could have paid off. But the Dragoons made quick work of them. I wonder if he just got starved there in the end. It looked like he was running out of food. It just wasn't able to get his critical mass that he needed to take that fight.
Do you see my screen? Is it going moving around?
Yep, looks great.
Good, good. No, so what happened as well? I was midway through the game. I was thinking, I've still got that overlay program still on behind this, haven't I? That's probably going to take up quite a bit of system usage, and then potentially Discord as well. No, I'll leave Discord for the next game. But yeah, well reminded. I would have gone on to that, but good shout. Let's have a quick look at the post game. I want to see how many villagers did go down because that is the story of the game. But maybe
Yeah,
it's
I thought
not.
potentially when we saw Lakota moving in
Great.
on those villagers, I thought that was like I thought Kaiser was going to be in a really good position, but he got away with more of his villagers than I expected.
I think I saw Green Devil saying 5 went down, and I initially said 2, but upped my bargain to 3. I think I'm going to take that one as a cast of victory at that point. Only 3 CDBs going down to that raid where Lecastete's villagers ventured a bit northwards from the base. I don't believe it was player controlled. I think the AI was just trying to do Lecastete a favour there, but unfortunately going for an exposed forward hunt really yeah, didn't help there. Lost 3 villagers, got back a bit of our time, but it wasn't a game-changing raid as we feared. Nice micro with the hero going to hand combat. Actually, individually microing villagers to individually give them controls to break them from the villager group, so that their individual villager then gets unsnared. So I think there's a lot of actual micro going on there from the Lecastete, which you can't necessarily see from the game. So fair play in that sense. Let's look at that military population. Yeah, Lecastete does lose, obviously, units in base while defending, and this is when he was pushing out at the same time. So it's a brief moment of time where, Kaister was looking, pretty decent, having some residue units left over in the H2, but Lecastete aging up at a very, very respectable time, training a batch of 5 Dragoons, sending 5 Dragoons, and then the 10 Dragoons was able to just dictate the game thereafter and then allow him to get that military presence, have a larger population, and that big fight went really well for Lakota there. And I think that Tushunki actually might inspire others to go into some Tushunki Prowlers as well. And I think Cav Combat there and possibly Elite Axe Riders could have cleaned up and got the game there for Kaiser. So
certainly, if he had hit those Marauders, if he was able to get those additional Tushunki out and get a pop, that could have been a huge blow. It's just a matter of positioning with those. You have to get the pop right on top of them, and unfortunately, they were kind of just a little bit far away from those Dragoons. And you want to be either right on top of the Dragoons or right on top of the skirmishers. So having to run around.
It was
also
so Kaiser was trading poorly with his skirmishers, just trying to send his skirmishers this way, trying to push Lecastete to retreat down to the south, and trying to say, right, I'm going to trade poorly of your skirmishers, but I really want to pick off your Dragoons. You know that. You're keeping your Dragoons in the back line, and that's when the sneaky Tushunkis prowl from behind, but the actually Explorer and allowed the Tushunkis to not be able to get on top of the units without uncovering, so I think Kaiser could basically attack the edge Dragoons, but the inner Dragoons and the far side Dragoons were safe, and then a really good retreat and good micro there with the melee Explorer. And I think a lot of top players, the difference between top players and let's say players of our rating fits is the able to use their Explorers to the full extent. And I don't often buy back an Explorer, but this is a good case of getting.
Yeah, I really like seeing Tet buy back that Explorer because I've been in this situation with Tushunki where I'm just trying to pick off that Explorer so I can do sneaky stuff. And most players will once their Explorer dies, will let it sit there. And he immediately bought it back, sent it back, and that likely helped that battle because if he had complete run with the stealth, it could be a different story.
So we are on Dakan. A famous map. Every first lieutenant has played thousands of games on it, and the 3v3 lobbies in the old game.
This takes me back to the Asian dynasties.
I wonder if the 3v3 lobbies still occur on the custom game browser. I don't actually know because I don't know. We don't actually often head our way into the custom game lobby, so it would be cool to see how the 3v3 Dakan meta has progressed since the end of the Asian dynasties.
This is a really good start for Inca, right? Because it helps them get that age 1 big button with these extra res.
Yeah, every civ has great starts in Dakan because of the extra crates. You could argue that India here, with all his extra coin crates, drop a market, buy wood, don't have to chop any more wood and get a really, really fast. You don't even have to 10-10 because you have that spare wood for a house. Could go for like just an idlest 11ville age at maybe 12. There's just options galore for all the civs. Possibly early trading
up a
post.
nice wood treasure there.
But so more importantly here for Lecastete, he ran to the middle of the map with his 2 elephant explorers looking for those livestock and has managed to pick up himself 3 water buffaloes so far. There's a couple more out on the map. Kaiser's picked up himself.
Can you update the scoreboard?
I certainly can. Where? Let's just. I want to check. That's correct. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Lecastete 1-0. Good shout there. Yeah, good shout there. See, I would have done that, but I had to get the Discord sorted for you.
Yeah,
it's
like my fault.
I always have a nice like methodical flow of things, and probably change it once I'm in the post-game analysis. But yeah, no, at least it's there. 12 vills from Kaister. The 4 vills have already come through from the catcher house. Market coming down. Has he got hunting dogs? He has got hunting dogs on top of this. So good stuff. First shipment here coming through from Kaister. What is he going to open with? He's in his deck. Well, it could be the exotic hardwoods. It's going to be the American allies, and we may see another Native American rush from Inca. Very popular strat, shall I say, on the ladder.
Oh boy, yeah, I got smacked by it the other day. You could eat it to me on especially on Mongolia. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, did you watch the what is it, the Soldier versus Breeze series on Mongolia? Because it's the Sufi elephants.
I missed it because I didn't. Yeah, that's what he said at me.
Yeah, it's the thing is, because they're such strong units, it's really awkward. And yeah, the Sufi Mosque's here, but with the Native Treaties card, only getting 1 elephant is pretty poor. You would never send it. So they give you 2 elephants, and then it's like, oh my god, that's incredible. 2 elephants, and then
strong.
And then with the other your native allies from your the native embassy as well, it's just a really strong power spike. And
when I was in a situation with Lakota doing a Minuteman, it's like, what do you do against all these units coming in? You're making Seaton to try to counter, and then the elephants just come in and.
I honestly, I feel like saying, oh, spaghetti, defensive. Well, not even defensive, just Carly Barter in base, no aggro, and versus a very strong aggressive play. Ooh, I hope for Lecastete's sake he gets some walls erected very, very quickly just to buy time, because
at least an easy map to wall as far as that middle section. But those, I think these will quickly even tear through a wall, I believe.
Yeah, certainly. So Zapotec's are hand infantry. I think they specialize more in tanking building fire, as in high HP stats, as well as doing very well versus heavy infantry in cavalry, instead of being like proactive siege units. So they don't have the strongest siege unit, but that Zapotec... Oh, it's the Zapotec allies. I was about to say I thought a Zapotec was training them like in 5 seconds. That would have been insane, but no, it's just the... Zapotec allies. Out comes the forward builders travoirs from the age up, because Incas still get their 2 war hut travois. Why does not Aztec have their 2 war hut travois? I don't know. Hashtag ask the balance. But yes, Tambo dropping down on the Sufi Mosque. Defensive war hut protecting the native embassy. First card native allies. A very simple, a very easy, and let's see how strong the strategy will be versus Lecastete.
Now, are the berries always spawn in front of the townsmen like that? Is it the same for the blue also? Yeah, okay.
I haven't noticed it as in every game. I want to say it is random, but for example, both players here having defensive back gold mine and forward berries, but the I've had games obviously with the coin mine being forward, so I think there's maybe possibly a set rotation or a set space where these 2 can spawn, but they can't spawn both forward or both back.
So let's see, has he scouted that forward base yet?
He doesn't need to. He sees the double native posts on the top right. He knows what's coming, and I'm sure Lecastete would have checked the deck, because you expect maybe 2 llamas or 300 wood as card number 1 instead of.
Is Tet training any units here?
Sepoy batch. But he's going to back off with them, which is the right call. He needs more reinforcements, and he needs to call minutes at the same time, so he needs a full batch of Sepoys and double Minutemen pop on top of all of this. He's keeping his elephants alive. He's buying time. He's only got 1 villain in the town centre, though. Like, he's desperate to get the resources here for the minutes. Calling it. Villagers going to get in. They're not, actually.
see what happens here.
Wow, Kaiser's even gone for the chakrams as well from the other native post. Another 5 sepoys. Double batch of minutes. The irregulars also in hand combat here. I think just wants to get the snare off and let the sepoys do damage from range. But it's actually the sentries in hand combat doing very well versus the war elephants. Both war elephants are down. And just some plumed spearmen behind. Not great versus heavy infantry like the sepoys. But the chakrams, my god, they are pretty strong versus sepoys. Ranged grenadiers with splash damage actually. I saw 2 sepoys getting nuked from ranger there.
Yeah, it looks like he might win this fight, but let's see if he there's anything coming up behind this. I don't think any villagers went down that I saw.
Yeah, now Lecastete's got 10 villagers in the town centre, which is really nice. He had maximised his efficiency in the town centre while gathering at the same point because the armies were fighting each other. Kaister wasn't in the business there trying to pick up vills. He wanted to kill the sepoys. But
He's without gold now.
Yeah, out come the Zapotecs with that heavy multiplier versus sepoys. Lecastete trained another 5 sepoys and in come the Zapotecs. This is just micro of the very small units, and all these guys are so tanky.
Here come the villagers. Getting some gold. Yeah, you can't train anything. I think he just needs to just wear him out here because he's just going to starve if he doesn't get in his gold. But, oh, looks like maybe he'll hold that wave, but here come more.
So looking at Lecastete's point of view, he does have the market and can sell wood if needs be.
Yeah.
Dropping down a consulate, looking to send 300 export as a, just another shipment. Probably go Ottoman for the Hussars and the defensive Minutemen improvements. 4 sours about a pop. Plume Spearmen.
Pop capped now.
Yeah, he's dropping the house down, but he's going to have enough infantry to push back the spearmen. Town Centre can help as well, and then the Sours will easily pick off the Jungle Bowman. Very low HP, but the pressure from Kaister is consistent and continuous here. Lecastete feeling the pressure now.
It looks like he's just focusing down those houses. I mean, look how much damage those spears do so quickly to those houses. But I think you just keep them off him now, back and forth.
It's as if Kaiser's scared of another Minutemen pop from the town centre, and until the Ottoman consulate gets researched and the 300 export comes in, I suppose he could go as soon as he researches Ottoman at the moment. But yeah, he's just waiting. I think he's just waiting for another batch of Zapotecs to come in before he commits into the army. But at the moment, he's just losing units to the town centre. Villagers still gathering, and a house. Okay, you pick up a house, but they are cheaper for the Indians. Remember, it is not as effective to try and kill the houses of Indian player because they are pretty cheap and easily replaceable, especially with a market behind.
Trickle.
Yeah.
Ted's done a good job keeping these, using his cav basically just to back his army off, but not engaging because his spears will be pretty devastating right now.
Players asking how many captures, just the 2. Population is low, but also you don't need many captures because the other reason why the strat is so strong is native warriors have 0 population costs. So that Sufi pop, those Zapotec pops, the Chakram pops, no population costs. So you don't need the housing for it. So you can just invest all your resources into the military for that early power spike. Still having a decent mass use here.
Down.
Yeah, just the 1 villager there. 10 bows, 5 plumed, and 3 Zapotecs still on the field.
Surprised he hasn't pulled those. Oh no, he can't find. It's like surprised he's not eating the cows.
No, yeah, of course. XP trickle for the Indian player, but he does have a back hunt top side if that is scouted out. Also, a couple of vills hunting behind, so Lecastete's not actually short of food. It may look like he is, but obviously villagers cost woods, and he's actually investing all his food into units, so he's not like desperately starved out of food. So looking good, and gotta try and wrap around now with the Ottoman Hussar pop sours. If Lecastete can time this could go really, really well for him.
Yeah, I think he's just been buying time, not to mention with each of those shipments coming in. Oh, huge stop there.
Yeah, and I think Kaiser's going to back off here, and Lecastete may have prodded a little bit too early there with the sours and sepoys. Here come the Hussars, but Kaiser's already backed out, which is unfortunate, but in terms of how the game's playing out, Enka is all in. This is low eco all-in strats. If Lecastete can just survive, I think he's going to outscale eventually. Without the villager died of poison is... Oh, Does the villager die? Does the villager still take poison damage when it's in the town centre? I don't think it does, actually. So that villager still survives with 10 HP. Lucky her. Doesn't have a great coat, but looks like didn't need it that time.
Yep, I feel like India's gonna be okay over time here right now, but has he dropped any more conscious back there at home, or is he still just continuing this?
Looks like he dropped a third, maybe. Oh, he's now.
There we go,
Okay, now he's going to try to transition into the catcher eco by sending the 600 wood, but that slows down his military production. And meanwhile, Lecastete has just sent himself the. Come on, where's the AI gone? They're not playing on the AI? Oh, I don't think they're playing on the AI this game, but he's just sent himself foreign login, so strong eco here from Lecastete and decent upgraded villagers. Looks like he does have a first tier coin and the civil servants as well, so 10%.
How are these? How do Gurkhas generally trade against bowmen? It looks like they're doing pretty well.
Oh, versus the jungle bowman, poorly. But versus Zapotek's, the plume spearman, very, very well. So you kind of need to have the Gurkhas there to help. Obviously, they somewhat trade versus the bowman with a little bit of extra range as well. So a bit of micro, but it's actually just picking off the heavy infantry. So when the sepoys can get in close to do damage, when the cavalry can get in close on the snare, that's when the real damage occurs.
Maybe we'll get some bowmen here. Oh, just in time.
Okay, so it looks like Kaiser's going to try and revert his heavy infantry and archer line to try and catch those cavalry units from Lecastete. Tet really consciously aware that he needs to keep his cavalry healthy because he's got no access to any other cavalry in the meantime. He's still training more infantry units from the barracks, but he's used up his sour shipment and the consulate hussars. But Bowman coming in, picking off some more Gurkhas as well, so taking trades where he can. That one Gurkha going down, but doesn't want to stay too far away from the heavy infantry because a single touch from the sabres will probably kill a couple bowmen like that. It's such a strong kind of counter-skirmisher unit, the Sour is.
Kaister's asking if we noticed the 4 stomps in the first fight.
Yeah, I didn't notice 4, but I noticed that there was a 1 or 2. But there was one stomp. There was one stomp which stopped about 6 plume spearmen. It was a really effective one, I have to say.
It's definitely very frustrating when it happens to you.
Yeah, but it's predictably unpredictable or unpredictably predictable. It's a combination of two. Like, you know, it is unpredictable, but over time you do expect it because of how I guess statistics and averages work out. But at the moment, looks like Kaister is just losing units to the ranged infantry of Lecastete. And you can see that only Lecastete's only got a couple Gurkhas. Doesn't need too many more from here. Just enough to prod and poke, pick off units where he can, and then when the actual fight does kick off, those sepoys, the very strong musketeer-style unit from India, will be the damage dealers, and still has his cavalry available for the snaring potential, which is so strong in a fight like this.
It looks like he's now secured that forward hunt there with the elephants and what is it, the pronghorn or deer? What are those things?
Nilgaze.
There you go.
Yes, let's have a look at these guys in close. Yeah, very beautiful animals. Look at that, nice little white streak down their spine.
I feel like there's a different species of deer I learn about every day in this game.
My favorite animal is the guanaco on the Grand Chaco. That's an interesting animal to pronounce. Yeah. Sounds like guacamole. Maybe guacamole is made out of guanacos. Who knows?
So I feel like now that India has survived this early rush, we were worried not having the aggro start, but he's pulled ahead now and looking really nice for him.
In all honesty, I think Lecastete sat there thinking, I think I should have aged aggro this game. I should have aged aggro this game.
I'm sure.
But he's making this look so seamless. Like, oh yeah, full on Inca rush. That's okay. It's okay. Just invite him deep into his base, and then for the double minute pop, a couple of Villas tanking, sepoys in close combat, and just focusing down the right unit.
As the greedy flex. Oh, we got a Chimu raid going on up there.
Oh, we do. Nice spot. 2 Vills, maybe 3 or 4. No, great coats actually. Oh, it does come in. Eastern Medicine, keeping those 2 Vills alive.
Running away.
The Lecastete certainly cares for his villagers very, very much, and it's good to see. But meanwhile, the forward base, the wall has gone down. The Gurkhas prodding one at a time at the moment. Low HP units, it's going to get picked off very quickly by the 8 Gurkhas present, and the Sours chasing the Chimus. But I think the Chimus win that fight. Do they? No, they don't, actually. No, they don't.
Well, he doesn't even need to. He can just keep... Well, I guess they're catching them there.
Yeah, I think Lecastete is even if the Chimus turns and fight, I think Lecastete is happy to take the trade, given the score difference, given the eco difference, the pushing out. He's now on the hunts. Very strong food eco there, 1.01. So I think that's civil servants and then second tier hunting upgrade from the Asian marketplace. So yeah, strong upgrades. Yeah, here comes Imperial bureaucracy behind this.
Maybe his strategy was by dropping the Carney there in base. He was trying to give some overconfidence to the rush there, and
GG. Tom DeLong was saying subscribed, saying nice to see that Fitz is casting. So yeah, Fitz, and you got a fan in the chat. Oh, I can see it in the chat. It's easy. I was leaning over, squinting at my screen, trying to see what the actual words were. He also says thoughts on Arsenal bottling the was it the Europa Cup, wasn't it? Yeah, Europa League, not Champions League, Europa League semi-final. A very disappointing game there from Arsenal. Very poor performance across the 2 legs, and yeah, Arsenal not looking to be in a good shape at the moment. A very tough time, but
you want to untake the score before
you know what? You know what? Go on then. As you've asked so nicely, I'll do that. There you go. Lecastete gets a nice +2 next to his name.
Man, I thought I really thought Kaister was going to be in a good spot there with that really quick rush, and when we saw that he wasn't aging up the aggro, I really thought he might be in a good position here. So a good turtle from India.
So we had the Sufi Mosque. The Chakrams came in later. We aged up the Zapotec warrior. The other options are the Mapuche Bolus mounted warriors and the Carib allies. I'd tell you what, the Caribbean blowgunners here could have been a tactical unit to have. The blowgunners having multipliers versus all infantry, so Gurkhas and Sepoys. And it was that Kaister was up and close personal into the Lecastete base. You could also say Zapotec, though, getting into hand combat Gurkhas will win that fight. Getting Sepoys into hand combat as well with the heavy multiplier, it will probably win that fight. Just Zapotec's feeling so strong at the moment, and I guess it was just micro when it came to the end of the day. There's so much going on. The Minutemen as well, the rifles in hand combat absorbing damage less than the actual sentries with their multipliers versus the Sufi elephants tear them down very quickly. Yeah, just a lot of good defensive play there from Lecastete.
Well, and I always feel the pressure when I'm rushing an India player. If you just know if they hold on time, just getting those extra villagers, as not to mention they're picking up more XP when you're losing all those units in their base. You've got to make some kind of death blow. And he never was really able to pick up many villagers in that whole push. He had all of his villagers behind or in the town center. So it was I felt like he was racing the clock.
Let's look at all the resources gathered, and somehow all the resources gathered is somewhat even, which is quite incredible to see, actually. Kaister going for this aggressive all-in build. When I say all-in, it feels all-in. It didn't have too much tempo after the initial push, but the eco is still there, which is quite incredible to see. And then once the captures get dropped down on the 600 woods, that eco does increase a little bit, but not enough to keep up with India after they've survived that push. And this is India with the Carney. Did lose a couple of vills, in that defense. So, there are trades off here and down. A bit of idle time, once that main fight was happening, the Lecastete focusing on the unit micro and winning the engagement there, setting himself up for the longer game. So it's quite interesting to see how those ecos are very close throughout the entire game. But we'll finish pondering on this game and we'll move on to game number 3. Where was it? There it is. Let's go.
Will it be another native civ from Kaister?
It is.
There it is. Just like me.
Oh, that's why you really want to cast Kaister. He plays your main civs.
I actually haven't played Inca. I feel like I need to. I've never really done much Inca.
Right, so we have Kaister playing as the Haudenosaunee, or the Haudenosaunee or the Iroquois. Take your pick. I don't mind which one. spawning the right-hand side on the map Korea in the color blue, pushing out with his Discovery H12. Well, yeah, so this is a horse now, but in the other game, in the base game, it was a dog. It was really weird to see.
Now, do you go for a dock on? You think he'll open with a dock here on this map?
I'm gonna say yes because he's playing versus Lecastete, and Lecastete is playing Dutch, which is a very boomy civilization. But I kind of feel that just a really well executed Dutch build order will be quite fine with Iro not putting on the pressure, being on the back foot here, going for a fish boom.
You might drop it there on the north. It looks like. Yep, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he's gonna have that middle kind of eye of the water.
Yeah, of course. So from Kaiser's point of view, though, the reason why he may want to go fishing on this map, though, is that there's a lot of wood treasures on the map. There's another 75 just down to the south. I swear the developer did say that they've reduced the amount of wood treasures on this map, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that at all.
No, I specifically always like the wood treasures on this map, especially when I was building Age 1 trade posts before, and I swear it's the same.
I'm trying to get a chat up. Yeah, filter notifications. Yeah, Kaiser's already picked up for 80 wood treasure. So has Lecastete 75 wood. There's that one more wood treasure there. So there's 3 top tier wood treasures and it's also because the map is so small. It's so aggressive. It's not as wide, expansive like a Kamchatka or maybe like a Grand Chaco where plays kind of push all across the map. It's quite, heads up, fight for the middle. You can divide the map into like the north of the trade line and that pocket down to the south, but a relatively short area for treasures to spawn, and we've got 3 of those tier 2 wood treasures, which each of these treasures basically is worth a fishing boat here for Kaiser, and so they're worth picking up.
Yeah, I also feel like on this map, your base is kind of, it's easy to be cornered in, especially if Kaiser decides to kind of put a mid-map warhead there and take some map control. It could be a nice map for him to have full run of the land here.
I see that Lecastete is taking down his tier 1 treasure, but such a small treasure, just by guy by Macaque, 20 coin and 20 experience points. I think it's a really good treasure just to pick up as soon as the game starts and let your envoy scout ahead to see where your explorer needs to go next. Just a minor detail, but the mixture of the coin XP is just a really nice.
Now look at those. Look at the 3 hunts around Tet's face versus the 3 hunts around Blue. It looks like Kaisers are significantly further away.
So this defensive hunt is the same as this hunt. That hunt may have just walked around this cliff without us noticing. But these 2. There's that one forward hunt.
First 2
specifically. It's probably the same as this one. It shouldn't be too bad though in this matchup because Kaister is the Civ with tempo and map advantage. They should be able to get to the fortress stage.
I've had really weird things happen with the starting hunts. When you're playing against an aggressive player, it could be really frustrating depending on where those end up. But I think he'll be fine in this situation.
Yeah, so the Iro player should be able to have tempo with map advantage, aging up with the all resource crates, maybe send in the 600 coin instead. So I'm probably going to be like a 5 vil and then one of the 2 crate shipments and then aging up behind that. The Lecastete will be a little bit behind, but with these resources, the 2 coin mines, the 2 hunts, and some safe trees, I think
does he have any speedy? I always like to look in Dutch base deck if they have any speedy halves or not.
I don't know why you'd send that card. I don't think it functions well versus Iro at all because Iro is a Civ with very strong skirmishers, infantry combat as well. And you feel like you need to fully commit to the skirmisher war. If you go into halberdiers, you basically just tie yourself down to the rail track and just say, just run me over. A lot of people love halberdiers, but I think the only real matchup it shines, and I've listened to a few explanations as well. It's quite nice to hear Hazard talking about how the halberdiers are very strong versus the British, for example, and they also do very well versus Civs with archer-based light infantry units or ranged infantry units. But given that the Iro have their strong forest prowlers, I don't think halberdiers. It's a bit of a meme card, honestly. I think it's even that low of a tier. But would I rather have speedy halbs instead of CM or the additional bank card plus 5 vils?
Nah.
Even 8 halberdiers in Age 3 versus Iro in this case, I'm not feeling it. I don't know. I don't rate that card as highly as others.
Yeah, I know. I've just seen a lot of catch me off guard when I'm not looking for. I think the Dutch player is sitting in base, and here he comes with all his halves. So I'm always
I
watching
think that's
for
just a
it.
case of players liking to snipe a bit old Fitz bro stream in ladder games.
Yeah.
But is it specifically the best way to play the Dutch? I don't believe it's on. I'm on that train, but it is map dependent. It is match up dependent as well. Nice eco behind here from Kaiser, getting 6 fishing boats. Let's see if he's training any more fishing boats behind this. He's still chopping wood with villagers on trees, chopping quite a lot as well, while sending him 600 woods. So I'm sure he's got this build order somewhat sussed out, that he knows how much to chop with the villagers, and while sending to maximize the use of the 600 wood. My gut instinct feels like he's chopped probably a bit too much wood in this instance. He's got the war hut down from the age up and the market down. Oh, stable top side, trying to hide this away from the forward base, but still having it somewhat forward. I like that play a lot.
Yeah, we've pretty much got eyes on the whole mid map here, and as kind of expected, he's going to have run on the map here against Dutch. So it'll just be a matter of how he plays it here.
Lecastete looks like he's opened up 700 wood into banks. Standard open for the cavalry opening here. He's dropping down a market on the 700 wood, but little does he know he will only get a 4 batch of hussars out from the stable, unless he wants to prioritize cutting villagers. So when you open stable here, realistically it should be 2 houses on the 700 wood. So yeah, he's going to get the 4th. Can't get the 5th as well, actually. Might have queued that huss batch a little too early. So, okay, in this case, it's actually worked out. But he's got the hunting dogs, but he's going to get housed. Can't train a villager. He's going to try and train a villager.
Segment.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he cancels the hussar. He realizes the classic problem, but that extra wood treasure that he's probably found, or a bit of chopping, allows him that hunting dogs at this point in the game.
Yeah, I know you probably got exactly what's going on with Dutch here, resident Dutch expert.
Okay, so we see Kaiser pushing in with a Kanya shipment, as well as a couple Kanyas trained from the stable. Lecastete will know that Kanyas have been trained, because obviously there's more than 4. Let's see what Lecastete's defense is. He's just sent that 600 wood, so it will be a while before 8 pikes hit the floor, or CM, if Kaiser still wants to be aggressive in the second age. I don't think Lecastete can mass out enough hussars to deal with the tomahawks and Kanyas, but you see how Lecastete here, microing his town centre, focusing down the heavy infantry. These tomahawks are the damage dealers versus the hussars, and otherwise I think Lecastete can quite happily defend with hussars, a couple bit of Vil tanking, town centre fire, and minutemen. So let's see how this goes.
Ted did a really good job getting all these hunts in right underneath his town center, with this heavy pressure coming in.
Minutemen being called. Spawn to the south side. I think Minutemen do better in hand combat versus cavalry as well, because they do the same damage, but obviously avoid that range resist that they have. But yeah, picking up these canyons quite nicely. Kaiser's gone aggressive in this age. Hussar batch is about to pop here for Lecastete. He's got the resources for all 5 if he wants to buy a little bit of food, but Kaiser is running away with the tail between his legs. A successful base defense there from the Lecastete, and to send crates instead of a more defensive shipment.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure he's going to get that barracks down at this point, if Kaiser's going to be able to push back into this once he starts getting some skirms out.
He's actually calling the 8 pikes. I think he's realised that Kaiser is going to stay in the second age. It'd be a bit awkward for the Eero player to kind of back off from this aggressive play and age up and transition strategies. So he's calling the 8 pikemen. He knows that the aggression's coming in, but focusing on the Kanyas already. Keeping his Minutemen alive and away from Tomahawk range. Actually, some good micro there from the Lecastete. Yeah. I do give him credit for that. Here come the skirmishers. Town Centre Fire still doing work. Now trying to micro down the Minutemen while the Hussars are getting good damage. Skirmishers from range. This is a total cleanup here. Or another solid defense there from the Lecastete.
Yeah, that's not sure what he's going to do from this.
Well, let's see what Kaister's. He's got the fishing eco. He's got 7 fishing boats. And he does have 31 villagers with hunting dogs. Now sending the all crates ship shipment. So he does have a strong eco behind this. So it's not doom and gloom. He can continue to mass. Oh no, Kaister, my man, you've got to avoid the trading post. You know you're playing on the Age of
Oh,
Empires Definitive Edition. You know, I know that this tent, maybe they're cooking up something quite nice inside. You're sniffing it, thinking, that smells nice. I want to stay around for some dinner, but your comrades, they needed you. And do you know what? I have a sneaky feeling that this Kanya was from the initial batch of 4 from the shipment.
oh,
Yeah,
probably.
because of where it's positioned. It's come out from the war hut instead of coming from the stable down the path. Okay, raids in Kaiser's base, but there are Kanyas here to protect. So we'll lose 1 villager, but we'll trade. Is Kaiser going in? He's used the select all Kanya's hotkey. Let these Hussars go, but he's going to go back in for another bite of the cherry. But I think once he sees the defensive pikemen and the skirmishers, he's going to back the hell out and he's going. Yeah, he's running away.
Yeah, I think Dutch just got to survive here, do a little bit of harassment, and his eco should do the rest of the work from here out, with just losing so many units in that first attack.
A moment of peace and tranquility on Korea. Both civilizations have decided to lay down their arms for the time being. Kaiser, though, still committing to Age 2, but he is sending 600 coin at this point in time while training, well, basically lots of units. I'm not really too sure where this coin will be spent at this point. Other shipments he could have sent, the 7 ANers at this point would have been a strong suggestion. So a bit of conflict between strategy in the card order and the amount of units being trained. Looks like Kaiser's going to the north side. Is he trying to scout? Okay, he sees Explorer, wants to pick this up, but don't need to send all the Kanyas top side. He's actually going to push in without those Kanyas. May want to wait for those reinforcements before committing here. 700 coin in the bank, not being spent for the time being. Maybe he could send privateers and try and fight by the coast, but Hussars from Lecastete are pushing out, and actually, you've seen how small this
Minutemen
mass...
still doing damage.
Yeah, I mean, for 300 resources, those Minutemen have easily killed 1,000 resource worth of Haudenosaunee units as well. So they certainly got the good value from that, and yeah, that just shows like how
Looks like he's
extra
8,
micro.
He's got 36 on food.
Well, yeah, because he's now aging up behind us. So yeah, he got the coin to age up. And then realised, right, okay, I need to get the food. So all villagers onto the food. He's got fishing boats as well. So actually this, transition isn't too bad. But then he was also, trained some extra Kanyas and some extra Aenas at this point. Doesn't have enough mass to defend his forward war hut. But could be up by now. He could be up the next age and playing from that position onwards. What Kaiser is at risk of now is losing his war hut. And the Dutch army being underneath Kaister's town centre as soon as he ages up, losing another travois for free, pardon me.
Yeah, Dutch moving in here. Even if he hits this age, he's not going to be able to produce a whole lot. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do with this.
So Kaiser's getting his spirit medicine, preparing to fight with villagers. A couple of villagers onto the ceremony pits, not dancing for war dance, but dancing to revive Licks the Cat, is his explorer's name. The Travois does come out, war hut being thrown down. This is where those pikemen could be very crucial in that fight, but he decided to go for the stable. He knows where it is. Yeah, pikemen on top of the cannon as well would be very crucial, but there's enough skirmishers here to do some damage. That explorer is at full HP, 1,200 HP, with the shotgun ability as well to do some massive damage. And actually,
Take out these Hussars, yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, respectable defense so far from Kaister as well. Only losing a couple villagers, down to 41 villager population, so he's got some more villagers in the town centre, still at around about 30 mark, so trade off a couple villagers for staying alive, and we'll have enough XP to send his first shipment. 6 Kanya horsemen.
He does have those pikes up there still. Guess they weren't in the action for the battle, maybe just keeping them alive for the Kanya.
Yeah, well, he teared down the stable, but I don't think he realised that Kaister was aging at that point. I think if the notification Kaister has reached the fortress age, those pikemen would have been dragged with the army into the main fight, but they were too far.
I expected to see I thought those pikemen were going to be in that fight, but missing those. They could at the very least tank some damage, but maybe it's good he has them alive to protect his skirms now that we have these Kanya out.
Has us saying maybe Geeks is at least a top 9 player. He could be a top 9 player. He seems to be playing like a top 7 player, but that's opinion, not fact. Who knows, maybe in this upcoming Global Championship, we'll see how this magical player, Geeks, who's come out of nowhere. Who is this Geeks player? Oh, it's just Lecastete with a different name. And we'll see how his tournament run will go. The group stages have been released, and I'm sure we can work out who Lecastete's first round opponent is, and we can speculate on that. But for the time being, this game is still progressing. The Dutch holding the Haudenosaunee town under siege, just camping outside, sitting on the external hunts. And I think looks like the Dutch player is going to try and go for a food starve. Yeah, it's got a bit of water, so it's not really a full food starve. I don't think Dutch really have access to the water. Check his deck. Yeah, no water shipments. Not expecting.
He also has a few villagers up to the north, and they can always hop in a fishing boat. I like when people do that with a fishing boat up against the coastline.
Yeah, certainly there's always a safety avenue out from these wood villages onto the coastline into the fishing boats. But once you get villagers into a fishing boat, they're not gathering, and then they're on kind of stuck near the coastline, and they're easily scoutable, raidable in that sense. While you really want to be defending your town, and here comes the push. It looks like Lecastete's pushing through, trying to focus on the Explorer, but this Explorer takes a lot of damage. 6 cannons right on top of the skirmishers as well. A lot of cannons behind this. Elite upgrade as well. Some good tech, but I think there's just enough stuff here from Lecastete to deal with this. Enough Ro8 to focus down. Veteran Hussars is a good tech to have.
Right on him.
Yeah, the pikemen still putting in the work. Only just Explorer, a couple of Forest Prowlers, and only like 4 or 5. Well, only 3 now can staying alive, and the war hut's down. The GG has been called. Lecastete smashing Kaister at the moment, 3-0 up.
Man.
Damn!
Come on, Kaister. Okay, score is upgraded already. Look at that.
I beat you to it. So I actually have a program. It's not a complex program, but basically I change the player I'm selected by Control F10, and then I can take away score by pressing my score button repeatedly, add score by pressing it repeatedly.
Yeah, so what is that program you're using there?
It's called the Death Counter and Soundboard program. I don't actually know where I found it, but you kind of just download a random program online, hoping it's not filled with viruses, and just
I have a random program online.
Well, your little Fitspot.
Yeah, I saw. So I was looking at that. I was like, "That's cool." I was like, "I didn't know if one of the ESOC guys had wrote that or what it was." But yeah, working on making it more standard and easy for everyone to use.
I think the story of this game was the aggressive play Kaister showed in Age 2, back to some strong fishing eco behind this, but some really good defensive play there from Lecastete. Didn't really have a building wall, didn't really wall up, but allowed his opponent to come underneath the town centre, where it got a good Minutemen pop. The Minutemen stayed behind that second layer of houses behind the town centre, preserving them and just rinsing the maximum amount of value from those units. Town centre fire, Hussar pop at the right time as well for the snaring and kill. It's just a really good defensive play there. And I think once Lecastete reached the 3rd age and defended himself, I think he felt fine, but just played out very safely and secured the victory he's earned from that early game.
Now you play a ton of Dutch, so how would you feel in this matchup? Knowing that you're being pushed hard in H2, do you feel pretty confident in it? Like I'm very nervous a lot of times to push into Dutch's base.
Yeah, I feel currently Dutch versus the Haudenosaunee on a land map. I want to say Dutch favoured on this sea map. It's probably a bit more balanced. I know how strong this water play is. My initial opening would be the same card order, but I probably would have gone for I think I would have gone for a barracks instead, and Lecastete show me the ways of the early Hussars here, because quite often you'd be going, maybe you could go 700 wood, barracks defense, but with a bit more wall in, try and get that wall, maybe a defensive pocket for skirmishers to go, and then maybe send in 8 pikes as card number 3 to hold on versus that early cavalry, because sometimes you assume that, more like the lower tier play would be send your 4 canyons, but then have a large infantry span behind from the war hut, and that's where the skirmisher and barracks play comes from. But Lecastete added in the barracks as well, wanting to secure himself in the second age before thinking about going to the fortress age. I want to say this bank was dropped in the fortress age instead of trying to go too greedy in age 2, so I respect that play as well. But once got to the fortress age, just played some very solid Age of Empires and not
honestly, obviously the game playing thing was losing that one Kanya in the trade post. Who knows what could have happened having that one extra.
You laugh, but that Kanya could be in the back line, trample mode, killing all his Minutemen. Then there's Minutemen not doing the damage, and he just spirals and grows from that sense. Also, I'm not too sure where the Hero Explorer was for the majority of the game. I did not notice it too much in Dutch base. I might be completely wrong. It might have been there because Kaiser did dance it back. It was a Dutch Explorer killed North Side. I forgot. Maybe the chat will let me know where that Explorer was. I wasn't actually paying attention too much on that one. But we will persevere and push on into game number 4 of this best of 7 series.
This could be the last one, right?
It could be. But this could be the time for Kaister to go
Make
for the
comeback.
magical reverse sweep and show Lecastete how.
I think he needs to switch off these natives. It's not working out right now.
Come on, open up. Well, to be fair, I don't think it's Kaister not playing well. I think it's just Lecastete's been very strong. He's on his form today. Okay. The common theme is I've been very impressed by his micro and unit control. I'm not going to say whether strategy has been right or wrong, but what you have on the board in the situations where it matters, Lecastete has dealt with that situation very, very well. So that's a shot.
Here comes Spanish.
Spain.
Yeah.
It's like there's a streamer who used to say all right, today I'm going to play as the civilization. The Germany, or I'm going to play as the country Germans. I'm like, no, it's the wrong way around. It's the wrong way around. Do not say that. Just don't butcher it. And I always used to get quite antagonized by, I think it's the correct word. I won't say triggered, but antagonized, like a moderate version of triggered. Just enough to raise my eyebrow, but not enough to say anything in Twitch chat.
That's the thing you care about, not all the native mispronunciations.
Well, I mean. Yeah, I should probably care about it a little bit more, but once the Houdanese meme started, every time I see it, it's like Houdanese. But any time I say Iro or Sue Iro or Sue, it's not on purpose. It's just kind of accidents. It's like, for example, somebody in the chat once said, "Oh, placer mines is pronounced placer mines." I looked it up. It actually is placer mines, but I'm not changing it because I've said that for 15 years. It's one of those. It'd be very hard
things
for me.
I've been saying, since I was a kid, just saying the wrong way, and now it's hard undoing. Now, someone in chat was wondering about, they was worried that the number of recorded games was giving it away, but I think we should be reassured that it's actually, we don't know how many rounds this ends up going.
Hey, there's 7 recorded games. If we get 7 recorded games, then fair play. It could only be 4. It could only be 5. It could only be 6. It could also be the maximum 7. This is the best of 7, and I do ask the admins to send me all 7 games or send me 7 game files so that the results of the outcome are hidden. But back to this game, we've had a bit of mumbo jumbo for the opening 2 minutes. We do see Spain here from Kaister. We see the Germans coming out here from the Lecastete in the southern spawn. The map is Fraser River, not part of the standard Definitive Edition map set. This is a custom map back from the old days on the ESOC patch, but produced by Vividly Plain. I'm sure he's in the chat. He always is. Oh, there he is. Yeah, give us a wave, Vivid. Loving the Fraser River. This is probably the one map I was most sad to not see come across because it is a standard map. My favourite map of his is Dakar, but yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, so fair enough. But Fraser River is just a quality map, and I think it's a very strong map to have. I'm not really too sure if the developers are interested in actually incorporating some new maps into the map pool. I think after a while that would be a really nice addition to have some extra variability to the map sets. And some of these maps that Vividly Plain has produced have been pretty decent, as well as other map creators like Garja, Dansil, and there's Rikikipu. But I think those maps from Garja and Rikikipu are well established in the current DE lineup, where quite a lot of these maps have been taken from the previous ESOC patch. Right, again, mumbo jumbo over, back to the game. Spain sending advanced trading post, trying to secure the trading line. I believe this map is 2 separate routes. If you upgrade Stagecoach on one route, it does not upgrade it on the second.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've always wondered on maps that have got the 2 routes. Is it worth getting, assuming he's going for some Stagecoach here, or maybe he just wants...
he's going for the Logistician build.
Yeah.
He's aging up Logistician. Yeah, there we go. Which I'm sure Lecastete will see. He'll check the deck. Obviously, this is Lecastete's deck. Yeah, standard decks does have the 6 settler wagons instead of the 10 guard hussars in the 4th age. I suppose versus Spain, who may go, Rod Lancer if they're playing traditional Spain play in the 3rd age. I think that's a good transition.
Do you want
card.
to quickly recap those how the logistician works for those that don't know?
It's just such a poor change. So logistician, when you age up, any card you send from the 1st age will send twice as fast. I think Kaister needs to resend this. He timed it a bit too early. I don't think the changes happened to the timing of the shipments. But any shipment you receive, you'll get an additional 200 food, 100 wood, and 100 coin. And if it's a resource crate or any other shipment, those resources are instantly put into your stockpile, which makes the efficiency of the shipments even stronger than before. And I think the Logistician was strong enough before, just not many players wanted to use it, prioritizing other builds like the Drastic Halb FF, Pyro FF, Standard, Spanish FF, Greedy, Spanish Gold into 1k Wood, Fortress Play. We don't even see many Revolts or Industrial Guard, Crossbow Guard, Pikeman, Fast Industrial players. Like Spain is the most versatile civ in Definitive Edition.
Well, I think the picture is a little like if you didn't know like everything about it is misleading because it sends more than just like you look at that card chip and you think it's just going to send wood, but it sends that variety of resources.
And I think, I'm just going to say it here because obviously it's a good time to advertise potential flaws. I think if you play a team game and have like 4 Spanish players on the same team, the team cards with Logistician kind of stack. So each time, if you send a team card to your Spanish opponents, you get Logistician bonus, but so do they as well, and then they send the team card. Or you could send like team coastal defenses on a land map, and everyone gets like all those extra crates. It's just like it just stacks up, and then it also stacks on the Spanish gold. I think your Spanish gold now gets shipped to your inventory as well. I don't know. No one asked for that change to happen, but now it's like turned Spain into this like age 2 kind of taking map, spamming units on high eco.
He lost the res by sending that too early.
Did he? Oh dear. I said he sent it too early. I know that the card said that the resources were coming, so that was updated, but it wasn't being sent any faster because he sent it before the age up. So yeah, good spot there. I wasn't actually checking because I can't.
Big boy has
because I can't check the crates on the floor because it gets instantly put into your stockpile. Yeah.
It's okay. He doesn't need them. There we go.
So if the Spanish logisticians are getting changed, maybe we'll get to see some changes to all the other European logisticians.
So what do you do here? Is he gonna double Stagecoach, or is he just gonna chill with the?
Just gonna sit and take map control really, and just spam Musk Huss, or maybe cut the Musketeer production now and go into Rodoleros with the Hussars, and the Rodoleros will do very well in catching up onto the crossbows, snaring them, taking very minimal damage from pikemen. There's just lots of options, and Lecastete with no trading post, remember. So this is the main core of the strategy in this matchup and this map. Denying the German access to the trading line, forcing Germany into an in-base church, which is just not as effective, but still good. Lecastete doesn't want to go to the Fortress Age because he can't risk it, sending shipments like 700 wood, 600 wood, and then maybe crossbows to defend. Double axe defenses come in, but here comes Kaister with the early aggression, and maybe wanting to force some early exchanges here with his stronger economy, but a lack of hussars here or crossbows. I don't think the musketeers are trained as well as he'd hoped for Here come the opening Hussar batch. Only 2.
Yeah, I feel like he just needs just kind of put some light pressure, force some response here. I feel like over time, with having this whole trade route, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I think it's really hurt missing the first batch of crates on the age up because he missed that. He got that age up a little bit wrong. But I really like the 300 wood shipment here because then you can just produce lots of crossbows in this situation. I think they do quite well. Bit of crossbow pike and hussars. Musketeer, like the opening batch of musketeers, is very, very nice. I think Rodelera's taken over from the musketeers are quite nice at this point. But I think Spain can just go anything age 2. It just works. You just spam out with his strong eco, and I think as the game goes on, Spain will grow more into it.
Chat's discussing if having the stagecoach on XP actually gives you more res with the logistician, assuming you're sending those resources. So how's that match?
That's a really good question, but I wouldn't feel too bad leaving. He's got his North Stagecoach on coin. I'd rather have it on wood if he sends an infinite coin behind this. But I suppose he's not going for wood-based shipments. He's going for musketeer hussars, so no wood cost here. Hussars going in really, really early here, taking full volleys of the Ulan's pikemen and a volley from the crossbows. That cavalry line has already lost a lot of that HP, and the musketeers didn't get as close as he'd hoped. So yeah, the hussars just went a little overextended, just a little bit too forward there. And he's having to retreat away from the crossbows. At this point, Lecastete's defended pretty well so far. There is the potential to... he's got the time to age it behind us on the next shipment. He's a little bit away from that. But at the moment, just trains more pikemen, aware of the hussar presence, happy to trade crossbows with musketeers, trying to put pressure on the advanced trading post. But so far, again, microing his units very well. Pikemen pull back ahead of time. And yeah, most of these hussars are half HP, and they're going down to crossbow volleys, which is not really what Kaister wants at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what the long-term plan is here at the moment. It's a lot of crossbows. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not looking good because just that, it just needed those extra resources from that first shipment to really kind of bounce off of that and have that initial military advantage and then roll in that advantage. But the Lecastete, bow pike defense here, sending 700 wood, 600 wood. He went 3 settler wagons, 700 wood into 8 bows now. Yeah, successful.
Is Kaister aging or something? Like, what's going on here?
Kaister, no, he's not age. He's spent too many resources on military units to think about aging at this point, and also the logistician. It only really buffs your age 1 shipments. You see, he hasn't even sent an age 2 shipment at this point, which is it's always strange to be sending age 1 shipments at this point in the game, but that's what the logistician does at this point. So. But yeah, it's not exactly Kaiser sending villager shipments. Like his eco is the shipments, but as his shipments start to run down due to the increase in experience curve, and not taking as positive trades as he wanted, so he's not actually gaining as much combat experience as he hoped. It's just slowing down his eco even more, and that's the annoying thing about the logistician. Is the more you win in the fights, the more eco you get, which just doesn't seem to add up early on. I guess that's the same argument with the Spanish gold, but yeah, taking Hussar fight on full pikes, that's a resignation moment. That is.
That's gonna be it. Yeah, I feel like maybe he could have pulled those musketeers back. Sitting there kiting those crossbows was very dangerous. I guess the Germans just had enough time to get a nice mass out here and make a push here in the middle.
But is this build though too strong? Because we just seen Kaiser get cleaned up there by bow pike defense there from Germany, and the Germans are not the greatest civilization in the Second Age, so we could actually say that
he did lose 400 res.
Yeah, he did lose 400 res. Maybe it needs a bit more testing. Yuki's saying he thinks Kaister needs a buff. I was about to say I think he needs the Spain needs a buff because Yuki loves these aggressive H2 strategies, as I'm sure Kaiser Klein has learnt on the ladder.
I've learned that from Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki is the main pioneer of the Incan native strategy, but when that was pre-nerf, just every game. Oh, has he got native post? Let's do that strategy. Oh, no, let's do that strategy, and just slamming it in. Vanille, do you realise Spain was on 7? Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. We did notice that. I assume Kaister was still training villagers though. I mean, I know towards the end of it he wasn't, but like, he aged up with probably about 12 villagers or maybe 14 villagers, so he would have trained a couple in that
That's
second
match point,
age.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let me update that scoreboard. Bam. Lecastete. Oh no, pardon me. Stand by. Yeah, there you go. Lecastete 4-0. So yeah, no, the villagers were cutting. And yeah, it's just that play style that Spain go for. It's just trying to just spam out units in age 2 on the logistics decision bonus.
Well, I think in this series, Kaister was aggro every round. He was rushing him. I think every round, didn't he?
Well, it was aggro this game, aggro last game, aggro on Takan. The first game was Florida. Wasn't as aggro. I think that was more standard play, but did go early axe riders and into some more like kind of like a prolonged age 2 eco play, then age up behind instead of like going for, all right, I'm going to go for a semi FF build straight off the gates. Yeah. But yeah, Lecastete 4-0 over Kaister. Getting revenge. Remember, Kaister defeated Lecastete in the Challenge Cup, and it was a bit of a shock result. A lot of people enjoying that series, but Lecastete just showing that was only a minor blip. And Lecastete showing fine form ahead of the Global Championships, and Tet will advance to the next round of the